If you want to pump your body and expand your mind, there's only one place to go. Mind Pump. Mind Pump with your hosts, Sal DiStefano, Adam Schaefer, and Justin Andrews.
In this awesome episode of the Mind Pump, we talk all about fitness, health, workouts, fat loss, muscle building. But before that, we do our introductory conversation. Here's what we talked about in this episode of Mind Pump. We started by talking about Kevin Bacon's new show on Prime, City on a Hill.
More degrees of bacon.
You're going to love the way Adam explained that show in this part of this episode. Then we talked about MIIR and their Kickstarter. They have something called the Porigami. It's this awesome thing that travels with you. It's flat, like fits in your pocket and helps you do pour over coffee.
Yeah, you fold it like origami.
Then they have a container that sucks the oxygen out so it preserves your coffee. It's all great for travel. You got to make sure you go check that out. That's at MIIR.com, MIIR.com/Kickstarter. Make sure you go check that out. Then Justin talked about his vacation in Palm Desert in the summer. What the hell? And Disneyland.
Yeah, bold move.
He saw the new Star Wars park, and they tried to attack him.
Galaxy's Edge.
Crazy.
It's amazing.
Then we talked about Justin's brand new Felix Gray blue blocking prescription glasses. Yes, he's an old man. He needs prescription glasses.
But you didn't say how handsome I look.
He does look very handsome. Yeah. But now they block blue light as well, so he can work on his computer without straining his eyes, getting those tension headaches. Felix Gray also makes nighttime blue blocking glasses to improve your melatonin production before you go to bed. If you go to Felix Gray Glasses, that's FELIXGRAY glasses.com/mindpump, you'll get free shipping and free returns. Then we talked about my trip to Yosemite and Colorado. What's up, Montana? You guys got some cool and weird people.
Yeah, you're in Yellowstone.
Adam talked all about the baby shower / wedding. 150 people. He's got so many gifts now. I think his kid's going to be covered for the next few years. We talked about Larry Wheels tearing his bicep. We hope he gets well soon, but we kind of called it, man. You're pushing your body like crazy, maniac. Then we talked about the health benefits of bloodletting. That's right. That's the old medieval practice of
let's bring back alchemy.
Of bleeding out. Apparently there's some health benefits. We talked about the new movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a documentary on a plant-based diet called Game Changer. It's not out yet, so we do some fun speculation. And then we talked about the History Channel show.
Smells like vegans.
Alone. Adam talked about that show. Apparently they're dropping people off in the Arctic. Mm-hmm. I don't know how well they're going to do there. Oh, also, before we get into the questions, I want to remind everybody that we do have some tickets available for our live events. So July 12th in San Francisco, we still have some tickets available. And July 26th in Seattle, we have some tickets available. This is Mind Pump Live. You got to go to mindpumplive.com to get yourself some tickets. Then we get to the fitness portion of this episode. The first question, we talk about our opinions on weight vests. We give out the workouts and exercises that they are appropriate for. Now, we do love body weight exercises like some of the ones you find in Maps Anywhere. Make sure you go check that out. That's on sale right now, 50% off. Next question, this person wants to know how to prep for a night of drinking alcohol. Like, what are some strategies to prevent the hangover?
My guy.
What are some strategies to get away with drinking less, like Adam's strategy? We talk all about those in that part of this episode. Next question. In reality, what are the chances of having a quote-unquote broken metabolism? You're probably hearing that a lot in the space. People having broken metabolisms or
if you're
damaged
dead,
metabolism.
It's a real possibility.
Yeah, like, is your metabolism broken? Like, what's really going on here? And the final question, we talk all about priming and if your body adapts to the type of priming you're doing and whether or not you should switch it up. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Maps Anywhere is 50% off. Now, Maps Anywhere is a workout program that needs no gym access or gym equipment. You can literally do this workout anywhere. Now, most bodyweight exercise programs are low intensity, designed for beginners, or they're just poorly programmed, so you don't get that great of results. Maps Anywhere is totally different. Maps Anywhere is suitable for everybody, including people who are advanced. There are AMP sessions in Maps Anywhere, which will take your workouts to the next level. The results you get with this program are phenomenal. And again, you could just work out at home. You could do it when you travel, when you're on the road in your hotel room. You could do it outside. You could do it again anywhere. Here's what you do to get the discount. Go to mapswhite.com. That's MAPSWHITE.com. And use the code ANYWHERE50, ANYWHERE50 50, no space, for the discount. This promotion will only be going on this month, and then it'll be gone. So make sure you take advantage now.
T-shirt time!
And it's T-shirt time.
Ah, shit, Doug. You know it's my favorite time of the week.
Oh, yes, it is. We have 4 winners on iTunes and 3 on Facebook. The winners on iTunes, Stackhouse 101, Oprah Follower 123, Braised in the South, and Jacqueline. All of you are winners on iTunes. For Facebook, Hannah Leonard, Clayton Dybert, and Brandon Lutz. All of you are winners. Send the name I just read to iTunes at mindpumpmedia.com. Send your shirt size, your shipping address, include your Instagram handle, and we'll get that T-shirt right out to you.
You hear that, Oprah? We're stealing your fans.
I'm watching a series right now. Really good, actually. I'm into it right now. It's on Prime. On Prime right now. It's called Something Chai. It's with Kevin Bacon. It's about Chicago.
Of course, Kevin Bacon.
So far, totally explaining it terribly.
No.
I almost have no idea.
It's only on its third. Maybe Doug can search for it.
So it's this thing.
Kevin Bacon, Amazon series. It's on a 3rd episode. It barely just started, so it's only 3 weeks in, and it's good. It's like based in the, I want to say, mid-70s, early 80s.
So it's a show with Kevin Bacon about the 70s.
He's a cop, and he's in Chicago, and it is
City on a Hill.
Thank you, Doug.
Okay, I have heard of that.
It's good. You guys will like it.
Has Kevin Bacon ever done a video game? I feel like that's the only genre he's hasn't done yet.
A video game?
Yeah.
No, why would he do a video game?
Because he's done everything.
Because he's 6 degrees
He's in
from
every
everybody, right?
genre.
Do you know who's big right now in the meme world, in the internet world? Who's like become the top dude?
Who?
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah?
Everywhere. And he, like memes are created about him. People
Why?
I don't know what happened. It's like my kid's generation, my son's generation.
Huh.
You
what
know
do they
what?
call him? The
He's just his face.
He's like the Chuck Norris of their time.
Yes.
Because for us, it
yes.
was, right? For us, it was Chuck Norris.
Oh, yeah.
That was the big. You made a joke about Chuck.
So
Norris.
everything's about Keanu Reeves, how cool he
Dude,
is.
I love
how,
Keanu.
Yeah, everybody like.
Is that how you say it?
Keanu. Yeah.
Keanu.
So everybody's like, it's all over the internet. Every time you pull up memes or whatever, because I get memes sent to me all the time. So I'm hip in that world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's his most recent project that he's done?
John Wick.
Yeah.
Right? Was it Wick? I know he's working on something else that looked pretty cool. It was like some animated series or something.
You know what's weird about him? He doesn't age. No, he looks the same.
And he's a surfer in every movie.
Dude, I've heard he's like
not.
the
He sounds
coolest
like one.
dude.
Yes, he does. Dude.
Really.
He's a surfer
the
in
nicest
every
guy ever.
movie.
Who told you he's the coolest guy?
Like a bunch of people say that. Like he
Who says that?
just all over the place. Okay, like
Why
anybody you
why
ask.
why you do that to him?
Like be specific. You sound like my wife, dude. Fucking, you're a nag, dude. Oh no! I'm gonna be honest. Ooh, tell me the specifics.
You know,
when? What time? You know, like shit like that.
I don't believe you.
Yeah. Can I just say that?
He just
without
said
getting like ridiculed.
He just said, you remind me of my wife, you nag. Like, oh shit.
Good thing she doesn't listen to this
I know.
show.
She doesn't listen. I'm fine. I'm totally fine.
You're totally good with it.
Yeah.
That's it. But anyway, everybody, you're right though, Justin. It's like a thing about Keanu Reeves. I don't know what the deal is with him.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but like it like he does a lot of charitable things, and I guess he's like really like he responds to people. I think that was the thing, like where if you can reach him and he'll actually get back to you.
So the other actor that was like for some reason all over memes and big internet stuff was Bill Murray. Remember, for a while he was the guy that people would post.
Well,
about.
it's because all like. Again, that's a guy that like shows up to parties just randomly, and everybody's just like mystified that he would do that. He's so cool like that.
Now, my buddy did a celebrity golf tournament. He was the caddy for one of those up in Oregon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Bill Murray was who he was, and he said he is fucking rad.
Yeah,
like he is super cool,
like the
person.
coolest human being.
Yeah, he says he's hilarious. He's down to earth. Yeah. Like he said, he treated him super awesome. He said that was a hell of an experience.
He's a top like 5 people I want to meet.
He's a
Bill Murray.
Yeah,
he's
always been a favorite of mine.
I hear Barkley's like that too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I hear Charles Barkley is supposed to be like really cool to me like that. There's a handful of guys. There's definitely Barkley was there. He actually said Emmitt Smith was really cool too. I'm trying to remember all the names. This was quite a few years ago when he told me that he did this.
What celebrities are known for being assholes?
I heard that why can't I think of his name? I heard
Christian Bale.
I heard Tom Cruise's. I heard
he's a dick.
why can I not think of his name? Lethal Weapon guy. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Oh, Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson. I heard his Mel Gibson.
No way.
Yeah, I had a friend
That's too bad.
ran into him in Hawaii, and he was with his family, and he was like super rude when he came up to say hi to him. And I've heard it from somebody else. I don't know who the second person is in case you're going to question me.
Says who?
Yeah, who's that person?
Right.
Yeah, what time does that happen?
Adam's like, you remind me of Justin's wife.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, honey. It was a joke. Holy shit, this is going to come back to me for real. Thanks a lot, Sal.
I'm just kidding.
No.
My bad.
Also, I heard, I don't know the lead singer's name from Social Distortion. I heard he's a total dickhead. But anyway, I love
Who's
their
Social
music.
Distortion? Is that like a metal band?
You don't know Social Distortion?
I don't. Shit. Do you know who they are?
I don't.
Oh, you don't know either?
Oh, wow. Oh, forget it.
Are we just text cracking
just
up?
forget it. Yeah. Let's move on.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, dude, what did you guys think of the MIIR Cup Kickstarter thing?
Bro, so a couple things. One, Cup Zeros are running. So those are they got them in studio. I think we only have a couple black ones left. Those ones almost sold out. We have the white ones.
They flew.
Yeah. Once you get a MIIR product, MIIR is the business. Like, I absolutely love all of their products, and they have a Kickstarter that's going on right now, which is super dope. Now, Doug, can we put the link?
It's called the Porigami and the something else, right? That came with it, right? Yeah. So it's like this flat. It's metal, but it's flat. It fits in your pocket.
Yeah, it can fit in your pocket.
And you fold it out, and it lets you do pour over coffee when you travel. And this is a big deal. So like Jessica is a coffee fanatic, and we were traveling recently, and it wasn't easy finding coffee wherever we were. And if you drink, the hotel coffees, it's terrible.
Like ass.
So you either have to pack your own French press, or you drink the garbage that's at your hotel or whatever. But this thing lets you do your own pour over.
Yeah.
And it's super convenient. It folds up and goes
folds
right in your pocket.
into a nice little funnel to put the filter in, and it's super easy.
And then they have the canister that's for travel too. That's part of the Kickstarter that you pumps out the air. So like you can fill it up with coffee, and it like sucks
that freshness.
You if you're listening right now, you have to go to the video and watch the video, because I think they explain it even better. And when you see it, you're like, oh shit, that's dope.
Yeah.
So you have, and it's
like a no-brainer.
It's on just the MIIR.com/Kickstarter, right? So just MIIR.com/Kickstarter, and you'll see the video. This thing is cool, so I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, and have you guys ever made your coffee pour over? Have you done it that way? I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, but
right?
you normally got to have this like big old glass vase thing that
Isn't Phil's like that? Like they just do like the single cup pour.
Yeah.
And it usually it produces the best, in my opinion, the best taste when you make it that way. So I don't know. Anyway,
No, the fact that it fits in your pocket is dope.
yeah, it's like it looks like a credit card.
Yeah.
And then you fold it out. It's one of those things. You ever look at something and you think, "Fuck, I should have thought of that."
I know.
Genius.
No, brilliant.
It's simple,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, they make cool stuff.
Yeah. So I want to hear all about your guys' time off and what you guys did. I saw you, Justin. You went to. You went to Palm Desert and then Disneyland?
Palm Desert, Palm Springs, Disneyland. We did Disneyland like the middle of the week to kind of break it up, thankfully, because God, it is fucking hot.
Was it
in the desert?
Wait,
Duh.
Oh yeah, you're in the desert.
It was like 108, 110. But I mean, it wasn't like too bad because we were right next to a pool like the whole time, so I did a lot of pool time. But Disneyland was epic. Like we had the best time there because. Dude, there was not that many people there.
So I heard it was a great time to go, because I heard that
Like why?
The reason why I heard it was a good time to go was the timing of like coming into summer just still early, and then also that the Star Wars attraction I heard would attract so many people that the rest of the park would be great to go ride it.
Really?
Yeah. So that was what was weird about it was I thought that was going to be like a zoo, you couldn't get anywhere, but it was like pretty easy to get everywhere. It was like maybe an hour wait. If you were going to just wait for their one ride that they had there. So there's 2 rides.
Oh, in the park.
One of them's not open, and it's not going to be open for a while.
So 2 Star Wars rides.
2 Star Wars
so
rides.
They've created it. It's like a whole, like Tomorrowland, and so it's a whole other land.
It's a whole different space. It's so it's really cool.
So they did a good job.
Really good job. Like it's just cool because it feels like you're just walking in some other planet, and it has like a bar there, a cantina bar there. There was a huge line to get in, so you could actually like wait wait to get like special drinks like at this canteen with all the music and everything. And then they had like a restaurant that was like all themed out and like cool in there. And then just so many different things to look at, different characters walking around, like a stage you know, where Kylo Ren does his thing. And like, it was funny because they kept harassing me because I was wearing that shirt. I posted it. I was wearing this shirt about Han Solo. So like, he like stopped me and he was like, "Are you a rebel? You know, are you in the Rebel Alliance?" And like getting after me, and like his like stormtroopers were following me everywhere I was going. I was like, dude, okay, I get it. It's a joke. You know, I'm like, all right, you guys, you know, leave me alone.
They need to relax. If they push you too far on that,
beat it. You know, I'm gonna get my lightsaber out and destroy you. You know what I mean?
You have to
fuck you up.
Just to get all in character. Fuck you.
I know. I was just like, at one point, it was funny. They were leaving. I'm like, Han forever. And then they started coming, like turned around, started walking after me. And I was like, okay, dude.
So what's the ride in there? What are they?
It's so I mean, basically you're able to there's like I think there's six people. They all go into basically a simulation of one of the Millennium Falcon spaceships, and so you all have your own kind of things that you have to do and push buttons and stuff to make it interactive.
So is it like Star Tours was, where you feel like you're going?
It's like Star Tours, but then there's more interaction involved. So there's like ways that you push buttons and it does things. So we were like the engineers in the back, and then you have the gunners in front of us, and then the driver, the pilots. And so like my kids were like the gunners, and so they're shooting everything. So they're super stoked about that. And like, you know, me and Courtney are the engineers. We're like, meh, this is lame. You know, that's the lame position in the ship.
That's the thing about when you go on those things with your kids. You go in and then you're like, I got to give the cool things to the kids.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, I'll let you guys do it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I guess you are, buddy.
It's fine. I mean, it was a really cool ride. Way better than Star Tours. Like they did a really good job with that.
I like Star Tours too.
Star Tours was interesting. I remember the first time I did
it's still cool to me.
It blew my mind because it's not moving that much, but it makes you feel like you're going down a hill like really fast.
Yeah, like you're going light speed. It like shoots you forward and stuff. Yeah, but it was really, really well done. Really just so many things to look at in that whole like area. I could have stayed there the whole time, but like everybody was pulling me everywhere else. But we got on so many rides, dude. Like it was crazy. We didn't even need fast passes. Like we were just like jamming.
That's weird. Why would that be? It's summertime.
No idea. It's probably because that just a whole new attraction probably opened up the amount of people that were.
That's a good point. Just spread everybody out.
I mean, it sounds like it's much bigger than what I thought it was. I thought it was just like a ride was going to be there, but it's a whole land.
Yeah, it's a whole different section. And like I was like trying to peep around to see this other ride. It's going to be like because what I could see was there's tracks and everything, so it looked like there was a roller coaster there. But apparently this is supposed to be like, you know, their next kind of Space Mountain, like crazy ride, like really like, you know, like precedent for adults and stuff. So
really, I have yet to go. I've never gone to Space Mountain.
What?
Yeah,
what?
never. No.
Dude,
scared? I've done Matterhorn, but
still the best ride at Disneyland.
The Space Mountain.
Still.
Yeah, I've never done it.
Scared?
No, not anymore. I was when I was a kid, and then as an adult, you know, I go and I never went on it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that because you haven't been that many times as an adult? Or
no,
what?
You know what's funny? I went with my daughter. Remember that year that I missed the father-daughter dance with her?
Oh, that's right. You took her down to Disneyland.
And I felt like I just crushed her. You know, I felt so bad. So then I asked her how I could make it up to her, and she's like, "Take me to Disneyland." So I'm like, done. Yeah. But she was too young at that time to go on it. So there was no, you know, motivation or whatever. But next time I'll go check it out. But I was scared as a kid.
Yeah.
They're like, you don't see anything.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
dark.
Fuck
so
that.
they changed it so it's like Star Wars based now. So you're like chasing after these you know, different like spaceships and everything.
That's
so it was pretty cool.
Did you end up checking to see where my old gym was in Palm Desert?
No, I went to a World Gym there though. Because it was like right down the street, so I walked to it, and I went there a few times.
That's one of the gyms that used to flyer their parking lot.
Oh, really?
I used to piss them off all the time.
That's great.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But
some people knew of us there, which was interesting.
Did they really?
They did, but they weren't like looking around. It was funny. It was like, oh wow, like we haven't impacted everybody. There's a lot of interesting exercises going on here.
Oh, in the gyms?
Yeah.
Every time I work out in a big gym, I'm always like, I got to put my blinders on, man.
Oh man,
because it gets bad. And you're at a Worlds, which is a higher quality.
Yeah, you'd think, but like there was only really like one squat rack, and all the rest was like it looked like a really low version of a 24. Like it wasn't anything like a world gym like I would have thought.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Probably because it's Palm Desert, you would assume a lot of like retirees and
Yes,
is that what's
there was a
going on?
lot of that. Yeah, and there was like a class going on, which was great. Of a lot of old people coming in, like sitting on chairs and like doing dumbbell stuff. So it was not like a world gym, like like I was going in there to get my pump on.
That's awesome.
Did you see a lot of swingers down there?
I know that there's a lot of that
There's
going on.
a big community down there.
How do you know about this?
I saw some documentary like years ago.
Yeah, I think it's Palm Springs though. He's
Well,
in Palm Desert.
Springs.
How far away are they from each other?
Close.
Yeah,
that far.
okay.
Yeah.
So same difference.
Yeah, but
I mean,
well,
There's
Palm-
a big gay community in Palm Springs.
oh, there's a street. There's
Yeah.
like a gay street in Palm Springs.
it's
yeah,
called
we
Gay
went
Street or
on
just
that, and I
lots of-
didn't know.
No. It's I don't know. I don't remember the name of it, but it's literally a street. And when you go down it, they have So you remember the store Kmart when we were kids?
Yeah.
They have a store there called Gaymart on the street. I'm not making this up. It's literally I don't know if it's still there, but it's called Gaymart, and it's got clothes and stuff like that. But yeah, you go down the street and it's all it's all for the LGBT.
Yeah, I
community.
didn't know because there was one store that had like the front of it, like had all the mannequins all like wearing the pride stuff, like all in certain positions. And I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's what's going down.
That's in Palm
Yeah.
Springs.
Well,
yeah.
speaking of fits, I like your new shades, dude.
Thanks,
yeah, your
man.
new glasses look
Yeah,
good.
yeah, the new Felix Grays.
So they're
With
prescription.
prescription. Well, because now it's great because I can actually like be on my phone. And I don't feel like I get that tension headache after I'm on there too long. Not that it's an excuse to use my phone more, but it's just because like, dude, I seriously am on this thing all the time, and I don't have my glasses available too. So there's two things I'm doing wrong, right? I'm trying to read this tiny text, but also like the blue light on top of it. So I'm stoked.
Well, I got the sunglasses so now they also make sunglasses. So you have your blue blocker day ones, the night ones, which are the strongest ones, and then your sunglasses where the lenses are tinted, polarized, the whole deal. So now I can wear those when I go
Now,
out.
Justin, yours are they more expensive than the normal ones, or is it the same price for those? Do you know
I
the
don't
cost difference?
remember the cost difference of that. I just know it was easy to just add. You just send out like your prescription like alongside it, and then they just apply it to it. So it was
okay.
pretty simple how you can get that done. But yeah, there was a little bit, I think, of a price difference.
Yeah, it makes sense for somebody who works on a computer a lot, has prescription glasses anyways. Boom, switch it to the
Yeah,
blue blocking ones.
Yep.
So that you don't get that potential damage from the computer screen.
Yeah, double whammy right there.
And you were saying that the prescription you think you need to change though?
It had the same clarity that I have in my other glasses that I've used, for a while, but I noticed that even I think now my eyes have still degraded a little bit like over the years, because that was like a 2 year ago prescription. So I think that you need to do it like every year or something.
Yeah, you're just getting old.
I'm just old.
You got to get the bifocals. The line
It's
in the middle.
definitely an upgrade, but yeah, I get the one monocle. Yeah.
Now, Sal, you went to racist Montana and then Colorado Vail,
Don't
right?
say that. Don't say that. I went to we flew into.
Don't lie, bro. You know it's like that out there.
Oh, bro. We flew into Bozeman, and then we went into the north entrance of Yellowstone. We stayed there for a few days, went down to the west entrance of Yellowstone, stayed there a few days, and then went down to Colorado for a wedding. Here's the thing that blows me away, the diversity of this country in terms of just the difference of the way people are and the way things are. It's so wild. Like, I'm in the same country, but not. Like, Montana is so sparsely populated. You know how many people are in Montana, the whole state?
How much?
As many people as there are in the city of San Jose.
Really?
In the whole state. In the entire
So
state.
super spread out.
So everywhere you go, and it's funny, like I'll talk to and the locals there are super friendly. Everybody just, like, you go buy something at the store and the guy's going to have a 20-minute conversation with you. And I realize why. It's because there's no one else waiting behind me in line.
Yeah.
It's just, the guy's like, oh, it's a person.
And he has
But
like
it's-
4 interactions all
he's,
day.
he's like, let's talk. Like, where are you from? What's going on? Or whatever. So everybody's talking to you. Very, very slow pace. It's very, very different. But it's funny because I'll tell them, I'll say, oh, I'm going to go look at this at Yellowstone. Like, I'm going to go look at Old Faithful. And they'll be like, oh, well, be prepared for the crowds and there's traffic and it's going to be, really busy. And I show up and I'm like, this is the crowd?
Like 20 people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, but I'm used to the Bay Area. Like, traffic, there's 5 cars. I had to wait for 5 cars to get into the
Yeah,
area.
that's absurd.
It was so nothing. It's like so little people. Then when we were at the west entrance, there's this little town there and we were walking around and there was a this big sign, and it had English writing and then Chinese writing underneath it, and it said shoot guns or whatever. It had a picture of like an AK, and I'm like, oh yeah, the laws here are a little different than California. So I walk in, and the wall of this place was lined with every gun you can think of, and guns you didn't even know existed. Like there were guns that I thought only existed in video games, like rifles that look. He's like, this is an Israeli something, and then he's like, you ever watch that movie? What's that movie where the girl kills like zombies? What's her name? She's really attractive. I can't remember. Anyway, she's holding this really interesting looking rifle, and there's a poster of it. He's like, we have that gun too. So it's like every gun you can imagine, and so I said, okay, what do I need to do to fire these, or what's the deal? He goes, oh, it's just $30.
Resident Evil?
Yeah, Resident Evil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's like $30. He's like $30. You can fire anyone you want. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
What'd you fire? Did you guys fire a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, I fired I think it's called a Vector. We fired a couple handguns, a 9mm 45s. But it's funny because we go in there, and Jessica's like, I've never shot like some of these before. And the guy's like, oh, I'll just show you. So like walks in, shows us real quick, and we're like, okay, sing us alone with these things. It's so different. You could fire fully automatic, but they didn't have their license yet because they had just bought the business. So I asked the guy, so he apologized. He was like, look, I'm sorry. It's all semi-automatic right now. And I'm like, wait a minute. There's an option to do? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, but you got to get we have to get our license or whatever. So that was cool. And then back to your comment, Adam, we were at a bar just talking to this couple, and they're throwing around words like it's 1975. Like there's a little bit of a different. He's like, oh, you're from California. He's like, yeah. And so we're talking about it. He's like, well, here's what I don't like about California. And he's throwing out, he's saying some shit.
Some bombs.
Like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, what do I do? Like, this is, what's this guy saying right now? So there was that. But it was, Yellowstone is spectacular. It is fucking spectacular. It's insane.
You guys flew into there, right? And then did you drive from Montana to Colorado?
We did. So after we drove, we went from North Entrance, West Entrance, and then from there we drove all the way down to Vail, Colorado, which is a beautiful, beautiful town.
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous. We went to a wedding. It was gorgeous there. It's funny because I forget when you're at altitude how much that impedes your performance if you're not used to it. So when we were in Vail, I did a circuit in their little hotel gym.
Dying.
Dude, I got lightheaded for like 30 minutes. I was like, holy shit. And I forgot it was the altitude. And then
how long of a drive from Montana? How long did it take you guys to get there?
It was 11 hours. 11. Yeah, but it was fun, because it's Jessica and I. We're in the car driving and having good conversation, listening to podcasts and doing our thing. And, every time you'd stop, you just see interesting people and talk.
Did you do it all in one day, or did you guys break it up?
That drive we did in one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but we stayed a few days in both areas of Yellowstone. We got to see like the Grand Prismatic, which is it's basically a spring that comes up, and it's got all these vibrant different colors because of the different bacteria that live there. And you can see, it's funny, you'll drive through Yellowstone and you'll just randomly see steam coming out of the ground somewhere, or buffalo just chilling, walking over here.
You
or
see any
wolves.
bears or what?
Didn't see any bears.
No bears.
No, I wanted to see bears, but I didn't. But yeah, we saw a lot of other animals, a lot of buffalo, which buffalo are massive. They're they're just huge beasts. Yeah. And they're not scared of anybody. So like you drive up and they just chill.
Now, you just recently did Yosemite, and now you've done Yellowstone. Like, how do you compare the two? Because I've never been to Yellowstone. I've been in Yosemite a ton of times.
Yosemite is picturesque. Right, and one just big, like, beautiful spot, but it's small in comparison to Yellowstone. Yellowstone, way more animals, so you see way more wildlife, and it just spread out. So you have to drive to different areas. But they're both gorgeous. They're both absolutely beautiful. On the way down to drive down to Colorado, we drove by the Teton Mountains or whatever, which were just. It's crazy to see things like that in person. It doesn't look real. They're just so massive and crazy looking. But it was a good time. I drank way too much this vacation, though. Oh, way too much. I know Justin was saying the same thing.
Yeah, dude. Being around the pool, the heat. That was the thing, though. It was like so draining. I would go to bed at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. I would just like pass out.
Alcohol in the sun all day?
Dude, it just zaps you, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, because I was at altitude, there was one night where the first night we got to Vail, Jessica and I go to the bar downstairs from the hotel, and we just start having great conversation with the employees there. I had 2 glasses of wine, smashed. I was like, I haven't been that drunk from 2 glasses of wine. It was silly.
Cheap date.
Yeah, totally. Like from the bar, we walked to the restaurant, which is literally around the corner. And I'm like, babe, I don't know if I can make it to this restaurant. She's like, wow, you're a pussy. I was like, whatever. Yeah, anyway.
I was the opposite of you guys then. It was actually kind of nice. I didn't go anywhere. First of all, the baby shower on Saturday. Was it Saturday? Saturday, right?
Yeah,
it was Saturday.
The baby wedding.
Yeah, baby wedding.
Yeah, dude, it was pretty epic, man. My brother and sister-in-law and my sister, they all got together and put together this thing, and Katrina and I didn't get to see it beforehand, so that was kind of the deal.
Well, the pictures you had were it looked amazing.
It was over the top. Over the top. I mean, there was a live band. There was 2 live bands there. So we had a early live band, then we have a later live band, then we had. I mean, the entrance to it was epic, and there was gifts for everybody that was there. There was. I mean, we received so many gifts that obviously I did not open it during the party because it ended up taking. So it loaded the truck and the Rover completely all the way up. So like both vehicles loaded full of gifts, and then took me the next day 4 hours to open it, and then another 4 hours to clean up the mess from all the stuff. It's just my house is.
How are you going to keep your kid from being spoiled?
I know, right?
So remember the talk was like, I'm not going to buy him shoes. I'm going to do this. Well, that's out the window because he's just got. I mean, I think he's got 30 pairs already.
Really?
Yeah.
But are they all like one size though?
No,
because he's going to outgrow them.
Right. Yeah, so they're different sizes. So people bought different. People are pretty good. I think most people that have been to multiple baby showers, they do a good job of buying. Different diapers, sizes, different
so that
clothes.
You can use them all. Or...
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, if everybody bought me infant stuff, I'd be fucked after that. Because, I mean, we filled up 3 dressers full of clothes. So he's got the next probably 3 years of his life of clothes. He's got diapers till he's 15 if he needs them. It's over the. It was over the top.
Not, yeah.
Over the top. It was absolutely beautiful. Real cool. Katrina was because she knew I was like not like into the whole baby shower thing. I'm like, come on, I don't know. This is your thing, whatever like that. And I was trying to convince her just to do it with her girlfriends and. She's like, no, it's not going to be a baby shower. We're going to call it a baby celebration. There will be nothing that says baby shower. It's not a baby shower. It's a baby celebration. So that was like the theme.
Were there any games? You guys play any of this traditional games?
None of them were traditional, but they played 3 games. I can't even remember I mean, I didn't have a moment. It reminded me of being at a wedding where I never sat still. I never was not talking to somebody. But I never felt like I got a chance to hang out with anybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, like couple of my childhood best friends were there. I see them the most, and so they were there the entire time. I felt like I never even talked to them because I had so many different friends and her family that were around that I wanted to make sure I made my rounds and talked to everybody. And when you talk about 150 plus people, like it just
do those things exhaust you? Because I know how you are with a lot of people.
Yeah, and there was a point where it started to slow down in the evening time, and Katrina and my feet were like on fire, like just swollen from walking around all day. Same with hers, obviously.
And your heels?
Yeah, my heels. So we kicked our shoes off and we were soaking them in the pool, sitting next to each other. And I finally had a moment. I leaned over to her. I said, "You have to take me home." I was like, I can't go any further. I can't go more. I can't do any more. So she's like, "Okay, let me say a couple goodbyes and then we'll get out of here." So we actually got out at a decent hour. But I was exhausted.
Oh,
yeah.
So what are you gonna do to keep your kid from getting spoiled? Are you gonna try and inject like challenges and shit?
Well, obviously all this stuff he's not even gonna remember. But we did talk about like my buddies did this for their son's first birthday, and I liked this where they haven't. His first birthday was now 3-4 months ago, and they haven't even like opened all his gifts. Mm-hmm. So they like open one. And let him play with it for a while, do his thing, this and that. And then like when he's over it, like it goes out of the house, it's out. They either donate it, sell it, throw it in the trash. And then that way they don't just accumulate all this stuff. So I like that idea. I like this. And plus I told Katrina, I would like to tell the family before we get to like this stuff was needed though. I mean, obviously I got an excess of a lot of things, but man, I didn't realize how much shit a kid needs. Like until we got all this.
Told
stuff.
you, man.
Yeah,
you just
dude.
wait till you go on a trip with a kid.
And
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You go to the beach.
Yeah.
It's silly.
And I have to say, I actually have had, and it hasn't stopped. It's still happening every day. Every day I get something from Amazon, and I got to shout out to whoever has done this, because some people send stuff and I don't even know who it's from. So people have gone on and found her registry on Bye Bye Baby and whatever weather ones that she's on, and people are just randomly sending us stuff. So and sometimes I'll get a box and it doesn't even say who it's from. It's just an Amazon box, and it's like, here's another thing. It's because she registered like 3-4 months ago, and so people just keep buying stuff on the registry. And I think she's got just about damn near everything that was on the registry. And I didn't realize how many things that it's just stuff I wouldn't think about.
Well, so there's some stuff that's like they have the wipes for your kid. They have a butt wipe warmer.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah. Now, when my kids got that, I drew the line. I was like, no, they're gonna get a cold butt wipe because we're going too comfortable.
Feel
now.
the pain.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, we got like 3 different types of carriers. We got 2 different types of strollers. We got 3 different car seat types. We've got all types of bottle warmers, bottle things, bottle dryers, bottle like fucking everything, storage things for it. Like it just blew my mind how much stuff this kid's gonna need.
I figured you guys would get a lot of stuff. That's why did you see what we sent you guys?
Yes, you did the Molly Maids, which I appreciate that.
Yeah, I got you a gift certificate for someone to clean your house. I'm like, he's gonna get so much stuff with that many people.
Yeah, Justin and Courtney did the laying down blanket with the toy thing, which is cool. Doug did the car seat, and then you guys did the Molly Maids. Which was great. So many cool. I had some people get random stuff. One of my clients got me this really cool. I thought it was really clever. It was his first piggy bank. It was a Tiffany's piggy bank. She knows I'm bougie. So it's a piggy bank, and it was a cute letter that was like, if Maximus is going to grow up in the Bay Area, he needs to start saving now. And then it was his first penny. It was taped to it. I thought that was pretty clever. So that was
cool. Like an old school piggy bank that you have to break to
totally
open?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's a whatever, glass or ceramic, whatever they're made out of.
Yeah, I was just gonna give you guys Bitcoin. That was my idea. Courtney shot that down.
Did you? Bitcoin looks like it's doing this weird up and down.
Oh, it's on its way up right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it rebounded big time over the last couple of weeks. Well, I mean, I'm sure the news of Facebook starting their own coin had to make, and Facebook's backing theirs up with money, so it's for sure it's obviously going to be a lot more safe. I think it's inevitable we're going this direction. I still stand by what I said since day one, regardless of what's happened to your Bitcoin if you ran out and bought it after I told you. I think the technology is going to stay, and it's something that we will use in the future, whether it's legal or illegal, how we use it. It's inevitable. It's coming. It's only a matter of time.
It's not going away.
No, it's only a matter of time before you see like companies like Facebook and Amazon and Google start using it for themselves, and even if they have to back it with money, they will. I think it's just the future of how we'll make exchanges virtually.
Crazy. Hey, did you guys see what happened to Larry Wheels?
Yes.
Oh yeah, tore his bicep.
Yeah, was he doing the Atlas stones?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
dude.
feel bad because we kind of called that it's this dude.
Well, he's a maniac. The guy
just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. You're going to hit a threshold.
Well, you remember when I was on that kick with I don't know what maybe it was when we were riding strong that got me on that kick. I don't remember what got me on the kick of like doing the sandstones.
Oh, yeah.
The sandbags or whatever. And I was doing that 200-pound bag, and I was throwing it up onto like a 5-foot ledge. And I, at that time too was at some of the peak I was at of my I was deadlifting like around 550 all the time, so I was pretty strong. I was being able to pull a lot off the ground. And I told you that my biceps were more sore than I've ever felt in my entire, to a point where they ached and hurt so bad. And it was only from doing like 10 of those 200-pound
It's because of the amount
limiting factor.
It's the amount of tension that you're exerting
at that point,
at that extent, almost that extended range.
Yes, you never. Yeah, that's what made total sense.
You never do that with curls or whatever, and it's all isometric.
Right.
And this just goes to show you that muscles have different capacities with different types of contractions, and who trains their biceps with heavy isometric, almost fully extended. Arms fully extended.
I am not surprised that a guy that strong went and did something like that and then
couldn't hang.
Totally, because that's exactly what I felt after I did, and I only did like 10, and I did 200 pounds. I have no idea what size stone he was doing. I'm sure he was lifting something much harder.
Yeah, and it was the very last one, which is the heaviest one.
Yeah, and just if you don't train that way, and you don't, like to your point, Sal, and then the rest of your body is so strong, you think, oh, no big deal, I'm going to rip up this 300-pound stone.
It's because what happens is you have those natural governors in your body. Those it's almost like a rev limiter. Mm-hmm. And if you constantly train for strength, part of the reasons why you get so strong, one of the reasons is that your body's rev limiter, or it starts to allow you to rev higher. So, for example, an Olympic athlete will be able to exert 90-something% of their absolute potential for strength, whereas the average person maybe can only get maybe 50%, and it's to protect your body. Well, if you're a guy like Larry Wheels and you're constantly testing your body, his body's rev limiter is set quite high. So now he does a movement he's not used to without that natural governor, and the risk of injury is much higher. Of course, being stronger, the fact that he might be anabolically enhanced, probably is, that tends to cause more of these injuries types of injuries to happen. Here's the thing with this too, and I hope this isn't the case with them, because I wish them all the luck in the world. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times you'll see people like this, and there's one injury, and then that's the beginning, and it just starts this chain reaction of one injury after another, because they don't give their body enough time
to heal, and go through that whole recovery process. I know. I hope he does put a lot of effort in that direction.
Well, not to mention, it's almost inevitable when you have a serious injury like that the other side of the body starts to compensate for that injury. And then if you keep pressing limits when you're like a strength training or a power athlete like that, or any athlete for that matter, it's like what we just saw happen for those that are into sports, that saw what happened to DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins blows out his Achilles, spends an entire year rehabbing it, is back only 3 months with us, and then tears his quad. Mm-hmm. And it's just what ends up happening is the other parts of your body the brain doesn't forget there was a major injury there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's very, very tough when you're in the middle of doing something explosive or athletic to make sure the body is being balanced in the movement. The body is just going to prioritize the thing that's stronger and hasn't been injured. And what ends up happening is then you overload another part of the body, and then it ends up going.
Well, what people need to realize is that the line, there's a very thin line between top performance and injury. Okay, think about it this way. It's like when you're racing a car and you're taking your turns. Let's say you're racing Formula One and you're taking those turns. You are pushing the car at its absolute limit, and anything more, your car will skid out. Anything more, and you lose traction. That's how you win, is you push the limit, and everybody else is pushing their limits as well. So with these athletes at these levels, they're pushing their bodies, and they're balancing on a razor's edge of between maximum performance and then if they just tip over the other end, they hurt themselves. So they're always playing on that edge, and so once you start to hurt yourself, you're out of balance. Things start going out of balance, and now that edge is different. And the problem is people don't give themselves enough time to find where that edge is. They know where their old edge is. They go up and bump up against it. Nope, now you can't do that anymore. No. Now you tore this or you tore that or something else, or the same injury keeps happening over and over again, which you see with a lot of our peers in the space. Yep. So it's kind of crazy.
This is why I'm okay with us letting Kevin Durant walk, which was great. So that all happened yesterday. Was all the big news with the NBA. Or there's all kinds of stuff going on with the Warriors shaking it up, and Kevin Durant had the opportunity to get a max contract with us, which I was not excited about, because if you go back in history and you look at every single athlete, every basketball player that has ever had an Achilles tear, when they rehabbed and came back, not one has ever came back and returned to their level, what they were doing, rebounds, scores, assists.
Wow.
No one has ever came back to
I didn't know that.
Yeah, whatever level they have. Some have come back and done all right and been okay for a couple of years or whatever like that, but no athlete has
So it's a bad gamble, you were saying,
totally. But he's still considered one of the best ever, even injured. And so, the Nets gave him a huge contract. I think it was $116 million for 4 years.
Holy cow.
With knowing that next year he'll sit the bench the entire year.
Wow.
He'll still make that money. So that we could have been hit with that contract, which would tie up all kinds of money, and we wouldn't be able to go off and do other trades. So personally, I'm
So you think that was good?
yeah, it's great for us to see that. It's unfortunate for him, and I wish him the best of luck to come back. But statistically speaking, yeah, you just when you get a major injury like that, you're never the same, never.
Dude, so I read something crazy while I was on my trip. When I have opportunities to read more, oftentimes I'll get into weird subjects or whatever. And I was thinking one night about how there are things that we have done for thousands of years, and you'll find in multiple cultures, that we then later on with modern medicine laugh at, but then later on with more studies we find, oh, wait a minute, there was something to that. Fasting is an example of that. Fasting has been practiced by every major religion. It's been practiced on every continent. For a long time, we laughed at fasting, said it was stupid, there's no health benefits, why are people doing this? Despite the fact that for thousands of years, people have practiced this, and now, of course, studies show that there's benefits. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself,
like, what else?
Yeah, what other things did we do for a long time that are cross-cultural, that people did for a long time that we laugh at? So I started thinking, and you know what popped into my head? Bloodletting. You guys know what bloodletting is?
It's like blood donating?
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's like a long time ago.
Yes. So the Chinese practiced it. Of course, Europeans practiced it for a long time.
And they used leeches at one point. Right?
Yeah, I want to say I think the Greeks and the Romans even practiced it at one point. And so the belief was that if you were ill, that bleeding yourself out would get rid of the illness. And so people practiced this for a long time, and sometimes with terrible results. Sometimes people would bleed themselves to death.
Use like pints and pints.
Yeah, and they would use leeches, or they would cut themselves. Barbers were the ones that actually did bloodletting in medieval Europe. This is why barber shops to this day have the striped pole that you see outside of barber shops, because barbers used to hang their bloody bandages.
No way.
Yeah,
so that's why that's
get out of here.
Yeah, that's where that comes from.
No shit. I had no idea about that.
Yeah, so I thought, I wonder if there's any benefits to bloodletting, because why would people do this for as long? I'm sure people believe certain things and they tend to be, back then, and they're wrong or whatever. But for people to continue doing these things, oftentimes there's some kind of a benefit. Otherwise, they would stop, right? Like, why would people keep fasting for thousands of years if there's no benefits? And maybe they're explaining the benefits wrong. But so I looked it up, and believe it or not, donating blood actually has some health benefits. So obviously, it's not recommended that you go bleed yourself at home or anything like that.
Please, yes.
But they're finding that they found that there's actual some benefits. So here's one of the benefits: when you get rid of when you lose blood, when you go donate blood, you lose iron. Obviously, there's lots of iron in the blood. This high iron levels in the blood speed up the proliferation of bacteria. So if you have a bacteria, so they did these studies where they took animals, for example, and they would have some where they would reduce their blood by having them, like bloodletting them or whatever, and by others having, not doing it. And the ones that reduced their blood, because of the lower iron, the spread of the bacteria was slowed down. So there actually is some health benefits in the sense of fighting off disease, which is interesting. There's also decreased risks of cancer from people who donate blood often. They found an 88% reduction in hardening of the arteries and heart attack risks from people who donate.
88% reduction?
Yeah,
Wow.
It may increase insulin sensitivity. A study by the University of California, San Diego found that on average, you burn about 650 calories when you donate blood. So there's a calorie burning effect.
Oh my God.
Kind of interesting, right?
It's really
Isn't this kind of fascinating?
It's a weird stat. Yeah.
And a lot of the benefits are for men. Men seem to get a lot more of these benefits than women do, but this makes sense.
Well, because we have more iron, right?
Because we don't have a period. Yeah. Women lose blood naturally
right.
every month. And so they find that men tend to have better results from this practice. But anyway, it's fascinating because I was sitting there thinking, like, what did people do a long time ago for a long time that we think is stupid? And I Googled health benefits of bloodletting. I found all these studies. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
That's crazy.
There's no way. Yeah, so for real. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Yeah, really
very interesting,
stuff.
though.
Yeah. So are you guys getting tagged all over Instagram with this documentary or whatever? With Arnold?
The Arnold one. Yeah, they're talking about. It was basically like going on some kind of a more of a. It's not a vegan, but
I
like
smell vegan propaganda.
it is vegan though. Like, we went down the rabbit hole.
I smell bullshit.
So it's him and not Cameron Diaz. What's his name? The director for
James
Avatar,
Cameron.
James Cameron.
Yeah.
So they did this film together.
Now-
so it's like a vegetarian vegan.
Now I
kinda
watched the
promotion.
trailer and it's about plant. It says plant-based, not vegan. So now this is off the trailer. I haven't watched it. It hasn't come out yet.
Well, so I went on Instagram and they have an actual account for this movie. I forget what it's called again. The Greatness or the
Game Changer.
Game Changers. And most of the materials there were basically promoting vegan athletes and like why they're so successful once they changed over to this vegan diet.
I think what they're going to say, based off of the trailer, is that a diet that is plant-based but still includes animal products is healthy, and that people are over-consuming animal products. There is some evidence that shows that they may be right on some of that stuff, but I really want to watch it before I pass judgment, because trailers can be sensational.
Totally.
They can be totally sensationalized, so I want to watch the whole thing.
Well, that was my initial
we're
thought.
We're
and
just
then I went,
speculating right now.
Yeah, we're speculating. That was my initial thought too, and based off of what like Arnold was talking about it on too, he was like, I still eat meat, just not as frequently as I used to. But, going down the rabbit hole of like all of the rest of the stuff they're promoting, it was very heavy vegan propaganda.
Well, here's
We'll
where my speculation is going to head. I speculate that they're going to release vegan supplements alongside this type of a documentary. That Arnold, who's already invested in supplement companies in the past, is going to come out with a new vegan line of products, and this is the way that they're going to drive it. That would be my guess.
That would be brilliant too. Wow.
And that would be Arnold.
Yeah.
Because
He's a business guy.
he's a very smart business guy, and you could definitely make the case.
Which would also make sense why he's came out already and talked about not going full vegan, but limiting his meat, because he still has his his meat based or his
whey protein,
whey protein,
being like a week off of meat or something.
Yeah. So now you can sell both sides. Wow, I wouldn't be. That's a good call, Sal.
Yeah.
I smell that. To me, I smell a rat in the whole thing. I don't know if it's, but again, we'll wait. We'll watch it, and then we can pick it apart after.
The thing with diets is it's simple. It's not as complicated and as specific as they make it seem. Like, it's not about carnivore. It's not about plant-based. Not about vegan. It's about whole natural foods and not eating too much. Really, if you boil it down, that's kind of what it boils down to. And eating the appropriate amount of essential nutrients.
And there's a lot of conflicting information out there in terms of like they bring up all these environmental factors of how shitty it is to raise livestock and all that. But
if you look at the whole thing down the line,
you got to look at everything.
Yeah.
Well, if we weren't 65% of us obese and eating 5 McDonald's cheeseburgers a day, that wouldn't be a fucking problem either.
Yeah.
If everybody was just eating a freaking ribeye steak, we'd probably
you're not
be okay.
going to cram that on me.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, I'm not a fan. Have you guys seen the show Alone?
No.
That's a really cool. It's on History Channel. It's it's not a documentary. It's a reality series where they drop 10 contestants.
You talked about this. Yes.
So the new season's out, and they're in the like up in the Arctic. And
what the hell?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Actually,
I feel like someone's gonna die.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's a good one. I'm on I think it's on episode 5. Check it out. History Channel. Alone. I watched the first season, and I think the second season fell off of it. My 2 best friends, they're the nature guys, and they love it. And we were together last weekend, and they were just like, "Oh, the new season's cool."
I watch Naked and Afraid all the time, but that's kind of like not that crazy.
Well, why it sparked just talking about this, I just think about like how we evolved as humans, and it's just, you would fucking die.
Yeah.
If you only tried to,
you would not in nature. You would never find
you can't survive,
and you would never find plants that grew naturally that were nutrient dense enough to sustain you.
And you see examples, and I know this. The show is like a small example of what that was probably like. Like these people they get 10 tools, right? They get dropped in on this place, and it's like you get 10 tools.
I'm a cell phone.
Yeah. They get like a bow, a hatchet, like 10 of these tools, and they have to like figure it out. Like, you got to make your own fishing pole if you're going to try and fish the water. You have a bow, so you could try and go hunt moose or get something. But they're mostly eating setting traps for mice. Yeah. They're eating mice and squirrels,
rodents are
and anything they can get their hands on.
You want to know how we
praying
always
for a moose.
Yeah, and you know how we always see like ads for like the new superfood, and it's always like some kind of a berry or a plant.
No, it's insects.
Yeah. The reality is that the superfoods, if you want to look at pure nutrient density, are animal. You get an organ meat. Find me any plant that's equivalent to like liver from an animal in terms of nutrient density. Well, you just can't.
And you see that in these contestants. They're like, because foraging berries is really easy. They find an area, but they're like, they're like 7 days in of like living off of berries, and they're like, oh my god, I just
you'll die.
Yeah, and they get a mouse and they're excited. So they get a squirrel and they're so excited because
it changes their entire mood.
Totally,
their body's just craving it.
100%.
This quaz brought to you by Organifi. For those days you fall short on getting your organic veggies or whole food nutrition, Organifi fills the gap with laboratory-tested, certified organic superfoods to help give your health and performance the added edge. Try Organifi totally risk-free for 60 days by going to Organifi.com. That's ORGANIFI.com. And use the coupon code MINDPUMP for 20% off at checkout. All right, our first question is from Hallie Cashman. What are your thoughts on weight vests? What workouts or exercises are they appropriate for?
You look really serious for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like weight vests for body weight type exercises because they allow you to add resistance to, and I mean, this might be a good topic to kind of bring up, is just the value of these closed chain type movements where you're moving your body, the muscle building effects that you get from them, especially when you never do them, which a lot of people don't do them very often.
I think it's an incredible tool for a progression to that.
Yes.
I don't think that you should throw it on right away and do that.
No, it's got to be appropriate.
And I also don't think it's a great idea to put them on and go running with them, which I see a lot of that also.
There's a very small percentage of people that I think would benefit from weighted vest running, and those are people who need to train to be able to run with weight.
Yeah.
So like if you're in the military and you're part of your training, or when you're out in the field or whatever, you have this heavy pack on.
Yeah, yes, you're a hunter. Sense. Yeah, you have to carry carcasses.
That's it.
The old theory was that make your training hard, so when you go do this event, it's easier. And so that was where it got popular. It got popular with throw the 50-pound weight vest on you, run your 3 miles a day or whatever like that. Guess what? When you go to your competition and run your 3 miles, you don't have 50 pounds on it. You're going to feel light as a feather and you're going to blast through it. Problem is that running is already really rough on the joints, and most people don't have good mechanics running, and then you throw 50 pounds on your back weight.
And it changes your mechanics. It changes the process of it, dealing for the excess load. So when you go to actually run, you're actually going to change the way that you run and your gait a little bit.
Right. But if I am going to use it, the way I would use it, example, I've had this before. Someone's reached out. They love the Maps Anywhere program. They're somebody who is always on the go, traveling. They always work out in hotel rooms. And so Maps Anywhere has been like their go-to program. And they keep recycling through it. And they've gotten really good at it. And they've asked me what are one of the ways that I could progress this program? Now we've built in progressions within it for most people, but someone who's been running it for maybe a year or two, what's a way that they can progress that? A great way is to just simply add a weight vest.
Yeah, and I think that weight vests have come a long way, because I was in on the first, adopters of the weight vest, where they're big and floppy and really square, didn't form fit your body. Now they have products out there. I think it's Hythlete, something like that, where it actually form fits, and they are able to really place the weight in ideal places. So it feels like it's somewhat more balanced when you go to do all these body weight type exercises.
Yeah, you want a weight vest that's form fitting, because for example, let's say you're doing a handstand push-up, which very rare that you'll need
push-ups.
Yeah, very rare that you'll need to wear a weight vest or need resistance to do a handstand push-up. There's a lot of resistance anyway.
Yeah, good luck doing 15 of those.
But if you're super strong, and I've seen people do this, where they're really, really strong, they'll wear these really, really well-formed weight vests and then do movements like that. Push-ups, excellent with the weight vest. Again, you got to be able to do them well without the weight vest, and do a lot of them without the weight vest before you add it on. Pull-ups, another great exercise. Leg exercises, these are great. So if you're looking to build strength, stamina, and do things like walking lunges, side lunges, Cossack squats, that kind of stuff. A weight vest is
dips, pull-ups. I mean, it's just a great option because, like, if you were to add weight and like add chains, like it's a little more form-fitting. I like it. I prefer it when I do weighted pull-ups or weighted dips, especially.
Yeah. But I mean, this again, to go back to the body weight type exercises or closed chain type movements. Closed chain meaning like a push-up is my hands are on the floor and I'm moving my body around. Open chain would be I'm holding a bar, moving my hands around. And they both have their benefits. And you'll see a lot of the benefits if you only ever do one style and then you move to the other. Yeah. One of my favorite things to have clients do is to take my clients who just typically lift weights and they'll follow some of our other programs. And then I'll tell them, I want you to do 4 weeks of MAPS Anywhere. MAPS Anywhere utilizes almost all body weight movements. There are some band exercises. And of course, I always get the, am I going to lose progress because I'm not using weights? I'm like, no. You're so used to working out with weights, try this and watch what happens. And every single time they come back and they're stronger, more fit. And here's what I like. It's the functionality of body weight type movements. Your ability to manipulate your body really improves the stability of your joints in a different way.
Well, Justin, you did a whole year of like body weight training, didn't you?
I did. And I did add weight to it. So I did add, I progressed my way up through it with, adding, but my weight vest at the time was one of those kind of funky ones. So I'd avoid push-ups and I would avoid certain exercises because my weight vest would flop quite a bit. But yeah, like added intensity through, ring training and like, suspension type training and things like that, where I could increase the gravitational forces and, the angles would intensify it substantially. So yeah, it was kind of cool because you had to get more creative with those types of moves to really add that like certain progression to it.
Yeah, one of my favorite type of workouts with the weight vest, I'll put the weight vest on and then I would cycle through pull-ups, body rows, push-ups, dips, bench dips, squats, lunges, and I would just keep the vest on the entire time. And the pump you get from something like that is pretty intense. And it's cool because you don't need a lot of equipment. You just have your weight vest, maybe a pull-up bar, and you're set.
Considering that you did it for a year, Justin, what were some of the things that you noticed? Because you also, obviously, before that, you've been weight training traditionally for a really long time, and then all of a sudden you get on this kick where you're
my joints felt way better. My joints felt like very, I felt more athletic in terms of like being supported in all different directions in my movement. And it just felt like I could get up and move way better, more fluid. But also too, I think that just the overall connectivity to my body, like I had way better body awareness.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest takeaway, I think. I think doing it for that amount of time was a little bit excessive, but I was just trying to challenge myself to see how far I could go in terms of like, progressing my way through training and just intensifying the process of that without obviously getting into like gymnastics where that's like the ultimate version of it.
Well, I know there's some like calisthenic and bodyweight camps that they believe that
they swear by it.
Yeah, they believe you shouldn't even touch weights until you own all bodyweight movements, before you even think about it.
I think they pair well.
I can see some of the rationale.
Right, I think I could argue that. Yeah. I could argue
either side. I think it's just a valuable way to exercise that people nowadays don't. If you're a gym rat, you just don't do a lot of body weight.
That's the real takeaway for me. The real takeaway is that there's probably a good portion of people that just don't ever do it, that only do, and that would get a lot of value from doing body weight.
It's funny because the same people that do that with weights and then say, body weight exercises don't build that much muscle, you ask them if they do pull-ups from their back and they all say yes. Oh yeah, best exercise ever is pull-ups. It's like, I mean, there's a lot of movements you could do with your body that are closed chain, like dips, handstand push-ups. Like you could be super strong with an overhead press. Go do some handstand push-ups. Get good at those. Watch what happens to your shoulders.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah. So, but as far as the weight vests are concerned, it's funny. I saw this once in a gym. There was a guy wearing a weight vest and he was doing curls and tricep press downs. Yeah, totally misses the whole point.
Well, some people do that with it, and they do that. And I've also seen the ankle weights that used to be popular, right, back in the late '80s, early '90s.
Yes,
is
wrist weights and ankle
they just
weights.
wear them all day long, so your body is working, burning more calories, and so then in turn, hopefully, burning more body fat.
Great way to cause an injury.
Yeah,
I got bad movement patterns. Just throw a weight on top of that and see what happens all day.
Accelerate it.
Next question is from Brenna TM. How do you prep for a night of drinking alcohol? What's the best way to recover and continue with progress?
Oh boy!
Now I used to have what I thought was really good advice for not putting on body fat for this, but I remember learning later on that it's probably a dangerous piece of advice.
Oh no!
Well, no. What I used to do personally, and this is for the listener, I'm not recommending it anymore because I think I learned later on that this is a dangerous thing that you can do. Is I would fast leading up to that day. So let's
it hits you faster.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want as
drink
much.
less.
Yeah, you would drink way less. I would drink way less. Hit you 10 times harder with half the amount of drinks. And I loved it. It worked really, really well for me. But I can't remember who we were with. I want to say it was I don't know why. I think it was Dr. Andy Galpin or somebody, and he was breaking down what happens when you drink alcohol in a fasted state. I forgot what happens to the liver and what happens inside of your body that is not ideal.
That's how people get sick, man.
Yeah, and so the recommendation was that if you drink, that you should always have it with food. So that would kind of debunked my theory.
Have you guys ever experienced that where you just didn't eat all day, then you go have a drink, and it's like one drink?
Oh yeah.
That's why it was
hammered.
That's why it was like my go-to. That was my move. Was I would fast the day before, so I would give a good 15 to 24 hour fast leading up to the time that I knew I'd be at a barbecue drinking or doing something like that, and I would only need 1 to 3 drinks, and I would get that drunk feeling that I was probably chasing. Mm-hmm. And then if I would eat any additional calories, it's okay because I've been fasted for the last 15, 18 hours, so I wouldn't put on much body fat from it either. So
see, I was always trying to outlast the party, keep it going. So I'm trying to keep hydrated. So I'm I would drink 2 or 3 drinks, and then I would drink water in between every time, and that no hangover as a result of that. Most of it was derived, most of my aches and the achiness and that stuff that you feel the next day was because I was so dehydrated.
Yeah, you can. I mean, here's a couple things that I've done personally that have worked, and then some stuff that is backed by, I guess, science that would say it works. So what I do is I like to use activated charcoal. I like to have a couple capsules with maybe every drink or every other drink, and of course drink water in between. Seems to really help avoid the hangover. And then the other thing too is you could take ibuprofen kind of prophylactically. So before you go to bed, before you have your hangover, take your ibuprofen before you go to bed, and then wake up the next day and not have.
You got us on that, and I would say that was a major game changer for me. I didn't drink for the first 2 years of Mind Pump. I am super anti-drink guy. In the last year and a half, I've drank more with you guys than I probably have in the previous 5 to 10 years. And that was because of that hack, because you started handing us charcoal. You'd be like, oh, you'll be fine. Just have a couple charcoal. And that's the part the reason why I really hated drinking was, the 5 drinks that I would have while I'm having fun, not so big of a deal. Fine. I was okay with that, even though sometimes I'd feel a little bloated and stuff from it. It was the next day where it just killed my day. All I wanted was some greasy food. I didn't want to work out. And then it seemed like if I decided to drink one day, it would set back my results or whatever I was chasing aesthetically for a week. So I was like, man, it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to fuck up a week of training and dieting all for one day of fun. It needs to be a really major event for me to justify that. Well, now that you've introduced the charcoal to me, I'm capable of having 3 to 5 drinks, have some charcoal, and I feel like a champion.
And I'm wondering if it's because it helps with the gut. You know what I mean? I'm wondering because I know what charcoal does, right? It absorbs whatever it comes in contact with. I don't think it reduces the amount of alcohol that's in your system or anything like that. What I think it does is it just prevents the gut issues that tend to happen from alcohol, because alcohol isn't, when you drink one drink, probably not a big deal. But most people, if they have 4 or 5 drinks in a night, kind of fucks up their stomach a little bit. And they might not have terrible, gut issues, diarrhea or whatever, but they might notice a little bloat, a little indigestion or whatever. I think that's a big part of the reason why you feel so shitty the next day.
Yeah.
And the charcoal prevents that. Like I don't get the bloat, I don't get the the bad gut or whatever. And I wake up the next day and I tend to feel better with the activated charcoal.
So
this is all anecdote, by the way. I don't know if there's any studies to support the charcoal.
I would combine your advice with my old advice, which is I wouldn't push somebody to the extreme of fasting like I was doing before, but I think there is some value to knowing if you're going to go drink 5-6 drinks that are 150 calories a piece or more potentially, to probably have a lower calorie day heading into that. So, if your daily caloric intake is, let's say, 2,500 calories, then maybe having a 1,500 calorie day the day before, knowing that I'm probably going to overconsume by 600 or 700 calories, and then also taking that into consideration the day of drinking, I'm probably eating on the lighter side, maybe not fasting, but I'm not going to be. You got to be careful of over consuming on a day of drinking, which drinking tends to promote that already. So.
It does, because it's alcohol is a very powerful inhibitor of just the way you your how you limit yourself for anything. What do they call that? That's like I can't think of the word right now, but it lowers inhibitions, all inhibitions. So you're more likely to like sleep with someone that you would not have slept with had you not had alcohol. You're more likely to say some shit that you would not normally have said had you not drank alcohol. And if you normally prevent yourself from eating garbage because let's say you're health conscious, that same part of the brain that is, that kind of prevents you from doing things that you're not supposed to
is now drunk.
It's now drunk. It lowers your inhibitions. So somebody who normally would not eat a pizza at 2 a.m., it's not that it necessarily makes you hungrier. It's that it reduces inhibition. So now it's 2 a.m. You're like, fuck it, let's get a pizza.
I always feel like shit if I haven't eaten anything, though, and drink. That's like a horrible combo.
Yeah, for a lot of people, I would say that.
Eat like at least something. Yeah.
Now, the next day, caffeine is a great way to help you feel a little bit better. It's a vasoconstrictor.
Lots of
can
water.
Prevent the headache. Lots of water. I would also sometimes have an electrolyte packet. And I would drink some water with electrolytes before I went to bed. Ibuprofen, of course, before going to bed to help prevent that inflammation. Milk thistle, it's a herb that helps the liver with detoxifying. So theoretically, that may help. But I don't think anything's going to help you as much as just drinking kind of responsibly. I remember as when I was younger, and when you're younger and you just push it past the reasonable limit, that's when you feel like shit. Well, I think if you have a reasonable amount, you'll be better.
That way of drinking is what kept me from ever getting in like crazy good shape. I mean, it really did. Like I for most of my 20s, I was in quote unquote good shape, but I had never reached that like sub 6% and magazine cover look that I wanted. And I couldn't figure it out. And what it was is weekends I would party. I was in my 20s. I would go out and I would go hard. But because I was in the gym the next day, in my head, I'm like, well, I'm still working out. I'm still doing everything I'm supposed to, and I'm good the rest of the week. But it was enough to keep me from progressing.
Have you heard about theanine? Like people drinking with alcohol?
No, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, apparently it mitigates a lot of the damage as well.
Interesting. No, I'll look into it. I like using theanine with caffeine, so I didn't know that you could do that with alcohol too. Well, I mean, here's the thing. This is why I prefer cannabis. I mean, if I'm gonna go out and just have fun with friends, and I know they have different effects, they're not the same. Alcohol is probably much more social than cannabis, but still, if you want to feel a little altered, cannabis doesn't have any calories, and you typically don't feel like garbage the next day after having cannabis. It is not nearly as bad for the body. I mean, you could definitely have too much cannabis and feel kind of groggy the next day, but I've never had a hangover from cannabis that even comes close to like the kind of hangovers I've had with alcohol.
They're such different moods, though.
They are. That's the thing.
Yeah, like if I'm smoking weed, I'm in a laugh, chill, funny type mood. Drinking's like dance, have fun,
let's go.
Have you guys noticed
silly.
that your window of
superpower,
that your window of fun time on alcohol as you get older is getting shorter?
Yeah, dude.
Have you noticed?
I know, it's a sad thing. Yeah, it's true.
I was at the wedding with Jessica, and we started drinking early. So like the wedding the wedding reception or whatever didn't start till 4 p.m.
Yeah.
But it was at like noon when they were actually getting married.
So you peaked at like 1:30.
Yeah, so like I have like 3 or 4 hours. If I start drinking 3 or 4 hours, I'm a fucking blast. After that, I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? It was much longer when I was younger.
Well, it's funny because me and Courtney bought alcohol for the week thinking we're going to totally just like, rage through it all, whatever. And we went like the first 2 days and we only drank like a fraction of it. And then her sister came later in the week and then stayed with us the last day or so. And like, so she's like pouring us like real drinks. And I'm just like, I am not ready for this. I got like so hammered. I went to bed at like 7 o'clock or something because I was just like so out of it. Yeah. Just not the same.
Next question is from Ander Beth. In reality, what is the chance of having a broken metabolism?
Oh, gosh.
I'm actually glad somebody asked this question because we talk so much about...
We should address first the word broken metabolism. I want to be very clear. And I know what they use that word.
Yeah, it just means slow metabolism.
Yeah, to damaged or broken metabolism to refer to somebody whose metabolism is slower than they would like it to be. Let's make something very clear here. If you had a broken metabolism,
you'd be dead.
Yeah, you
nobody has a broken metabolism.
Nobody has a broken metabolism. A slow metabolism is doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
What you've trained it to.
It's adapted to your lifestyle so that you burn less calories. So before we get into answering the question, there is no such thing as a broken metabolism. If you actually had a broken metabolism, you'd be dead. There are slower and faster metabolism. So I guess the question to reword it is, in reality, what is the chance of having a really slow metabolism?
Yeah, I think having a medically like bad, like where you have HPA dysfunction, right? Like you like always. What's the other term that people use for that?
Adrenal fatigue.
Yeah, adrenal fatigue. There's another one too that's popular. There's like 3 different terms that gets thrown around all the time. That is extremely uncommon. Like when I think back to all the clients that I've trained, there was very few people that were in a situation where they couldn't eat, if they ate anything over 500 calories, they would put on body fat. That person would fall in this category, I think, of what this person's referring to as broken, damaged, or extremely slow. For the most part, most people have slower metabolisms than what they had 10 years before or when they were younger, and they can refer back to when they used to eat all this food and get away with it. And to Sal's point, the main thing that's happened over that time is that they've moved a lot less. They've probably lost a lot of lean body mass, and they've ate a lot less over time. And then the body has adapted to that new caloric maintenance. And so their metabolism is much slower than what it was before. Now, the thing that's beautiful about the metabolism, it's kind of like a free-flowing thing where it's not always exactly the same, and you can manipulate that and change that, and you could do that quite a bit, especially if you build a lot of muscle, because muscle requires more calories, more nutrients, and that in turn speeds the metabolism up, which is why we talk about MAPS Anabolic being like, for our people that want to speed their metabolism up, because that program is really designed to kind of get you training with as minimal as possible with the most effective way that you can to build the most amount of muscle without burning the most amount of calories. So that's the theory behind it.
Yeah, and as far as slow metabolism is concerned, is there, like Adam was saying, yes, there are cases where someone's metabolism is so slow that, and you feel weak, you're tired, brain fog. But usually what we're encountering is someone's metabolism is just slower than they'd like. That's all. It's not that they have a metabolism so slow that it's bad for their health or there's a problem. It's just slower than they'd like. Now, when we're looking at the context of modern life, when we're looking at like today, most of us would probably benefit from having a metabolism that burns more calories. And this is just because it allows us to eat more and it makes it easier to stay lean. Now, if I were to compare a slower metabolism to a faster metabolism, but both people are eating appropriately, which one's healthier? Believe it or not, the evidence suggests that the slower metabolism is healthier. You don't necessarily want your body to churn through tons of calories unless that's going to help you in terms of eating the appropriate amount, which usually it does. That's why I always recommend people speed up their metabolism. But otherwise, longevity-wise, you're better off having a metabolism that adapts a little slower and then eating less. The problem is that's impossible for most people. Most men don't like to walk around and eat, 1,900 calories a day. Most women don't like to walk around and eat less than 1,500 calories a day. especially when there's food everywhere and we celebrate with food and all that
you just
stuff.
maximize your efficiency. Like all these patterns have led in this direction where you don't have to be as physically active and you don't have to do like really rigorous hard work anymore to where you need calories to then replace, and to basically like help you out and like build muscle. So you have to actually like, seek that out and seek that uncomfortable state again and go in that direction.
Right.
This is a little bit of what I'm dealing with this last year, almost 2 years almost now. Just 2.5, 3 years ago, I was full blown competing at the professional level. I had 230 pounds of muscle on my body. I was eating 5,000 plus calories. Here I am 2 years later, and if I eat over 2,500, I put on weight real quick, which, that has been, even for someone like me, is very aware of all this. It's still, I'm like, fuck, I can't do that anymore. Like I can't, it was very normal for me to, if I were to, I could plan in, 2 double cheeseburgers into my diet on a pretty regular basis and not skip a beat, still be lean, 6% body fat and great. I do that now and I wake up the next morning and the scale's up 1.5 pounds and I feel bloated in my gut and it's just like my metabolism is just not roaring like it was. It's not broken. It's doing exactly what happened. I stopped taking anabolic steroids. I'm not lifting nowhere near as much. I train maybe 3 days a week compared to 7 days a week. The volume is significantly less than that. I have probably 35 pounds or more of less muscle on my body than I had then. So that's going to slow my metabolism down. I'm not nowhere near moving as much. I'm probably taking 6,000 to 10,000 at a high end of steps where I was moving more like 14 to 20,000 steps during competing days. So my metabolism's not broken. It's just, but it's 50% less. It's gone from 5,000 to 2,500. It's doing exactly what I've told it to do, which is slow the fuck down because I've slowed down. I've lost a bunch of muscle. And if I want to change that and I want to get it back up to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, I need to slowly increase calories while I slowly increase volume and more training and build muscle. And it'll slowly creep up. And in fact, where I'm at today in comparison to about 6 months, I'm in a much better place. I was at a place not that long ago where, man, not much over 2,000 calories. And I felt like my body, when I was going through all the hormonal stuff. So the metabolism wasn't broken. It's just, it's adapted to whatever signal that I had been sending to it. And for the last 2 years, I've been sending to it that I'm more of a sedentary person in comparison to this super physical, men's physique competitor guy.
Yeah. And the message needs to get across to people that if you're going to exercise, and most people can't dedicate more than a few days a week to exercise, your best bet is to focus on the type of workouts that get your metabolism to speed up. Again, it allows you to eat more food. It makes it easier to stay lean, so it's going to make you healthier. And that's resistance training. Focus on weight training in order to do that. But having a slower versus faster metabolism, if you're eating appropriately both ways, they both can be very healthy. And like I said, I think people need to understand the difference between the two and the fact that it's not broken. I hate that when people use the word broken or damaged, because it's not. Well, it's working exactly the way it's supposed to.
I don't hate it. It's not their fault because it's a marketing ploy.
Sure,
right now. It's a scare tactic.
Think about it.
Do you have a broken metabolism?
Exactly,
and everybody can identify with that, right? If you're over the age of 30. Everybody can identify probably with that feeling of thinking that your metabolism is slowed way down or it's broken, or anybody who's been on 5 different types of diets or different programs to lose weight and has struggled with that can identify with this idea that, shit, maybe it's my metabolism is broken. And so that's just marketing 101. It's
not your fault. You have a broken metabolism.
Right. So it's a way to market. The reality is that your metabolism is doing exactly what it's supposed to do based off of the signal that you're sending to it off of your lifestyle.
Next question is from Bran Berry. You talk a lot about the body's adaptability to food, exercise, etc. Does this same adaptability apply to priming? Does getting in the same priming routine for certain exercises limit the muscle building signal?
It's good question.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, the more frequent you do it, the more you hone in on that process.
Yeah, absolutely, it does adapt, but it adapts in a positive way.
No, that's the point. Okay, so the point of priming is not to build more muscle directly. So priming doesn't build more. I mean, it may a little bit by turning certain muscles on or whatever. The muscle building effect that comes from priming is because now you're moving better, and then you do the muscle building exercises, and now those exercises are more effective. For example, let's say my ankle mobility is a limiting factor when I do my squats. So I do lots of priming to improve my ankle control and mobility. That priming isn't going to build more muscle, but now that I can squat better because of it, now I'm going to build more muscle. Now, the point with priming is to adapt. I want my body to get really good at the priming movements and adapt so that it moves in the way that I wanted to. Now I can do the changing up the reps and sets and exercises with my actual foundational workout.
Yeah, we're talking about the nervous system. We're trying to channel the process. So if you think about like getting better at throwing a baseball or doing something that's like a skill based where, there's a whole sequence of events that have to occur for you to be able to produce a type of a movement. We're trying to produce a type of a movement that is most effective. And that's what priming, we're trying to teach the body how to go through these specific types of movements. So as you go to perform them, you're at your optimal ability. And now it provides the environment for your muscles to now respond as a result.
Well, this also reminds, I got to do this since we're answering this question. I've been meaning to do this because people have asked me, what my priming looks like today in comparison to a year or 2 years ago. And it has completely changed. And that's due to the body adapting to the priming that I was doing.
You no longer needed the same priming.
Yes, yeah. I don't. It's amazing. It's awesome. So, and I'll show. I'll have when we walk out of the studio right now. I'll have Enzo or one of the employees do a video of me how I get ready to squat or deadlift now, which is kind of cool. I actually now can get to a place where I can combine like 3 different priming movements all in one little move that I do, and this is what's happened since I've spent so much time in the combat stretch. I spent so much time in the 90-90. I spent so much time at the zone 1 test. And now that I've gotten there, I can actually get down in this squatted position and kind of activate all 3 places in the same position. And then that really primes me to get me ready to do a squat. So
no, that's a good point. You should constantly reassess to see what priming is necessary, because it doesn't make any sense to continue to prime your ankle mobility in the same way. Once it's worked, now you advance and move to a different.
Right. I can drop down right now with no combat stretch whatsoever, barefoot, into a complete ass to grass squat with no pronation in my feet, no heel rising, anything. So there's no need for me to sit down for 5-10 minutes and do just combat stretching by itself. So now what I do is I get in that squatted position, and I still do. I activate it a little bit, so I'll push my knees forward, but I can do that while I'm also doing something else. It's kind of cool. So, dude. I mean, the priming will adapt, but it's not hindering you from building any muscle. If anything, it's only promoting.
No, and that brings up a good point. Is that you should, I'd say maybe every month or every other month, test yourself to see if you need to modify your priming, because you will get better at whatever you practice a lot of, and you may need to advance your priming. That doesn't mean that the priming you're doing before, if you keep doing that, doesn't work anymore. Again, remember, it's not really a muscle building signal. Priming isn't in and of itself is not a big muscle builder. It just makes your workout much more effective at muscle building, if that makes any sense. But the priming itself really is just to get you to move better, so you can activate muscles more effectively. And I would retest, every couple months. Yeah. Like in MAPS Prime and Prime Pro, we have tests in those. Like Prime has the compass test.
Yep.
Every couple months, retake the tests. Now that you're passing these other ones really well, you can kind of modify your priming for your workouts.
Which I constantly have to do. I mean, even just like recently driving a lot more and that's affected me, and I've realized that and gone through the test again and see where my deficiencies lie. So it is very important for you to pay attention, to what's happening like day to day, and that's going to affect how you now have to adjust.
By the way, priming should not just be used for exercise. You can use priming very effectively before athletic endeavors, any kind of sport, and before you do something that tends to bother you. So let's say you're going to be on a plane for 5 hours, and you're like, every time I sit for 5 hours, my back hurts or my knee starts to get stiff. prime before you get on the plane, or prime before you get in the car and do a long
before
drive.
and afterwards, which I do, now, and it's made a huge difference.
Huge difference. It makes everything you do much better, and it prevents your body from molding and shaping itself to the shape of the chair, or the seat that you're sitting on the plane or in the car. That's what I did before my drive. So, and with that, go to mindpumpfree.com and download our guides. They're all absolutely free. You can also find all of us on Instagram. You can find me at mindpumpsal. You can find Adam at mindpumpadam, and Justin, the fan favorite, mindpump Justin.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Mind Pump. If your goal is to build and shape your body, dramatically improve your health and energy, and maximize your overall performance, check out our discounted RGB Super Bundle at mindpumpmedia.com. The RGB Super Bundle includes MAPS Anabolic, MAPS Performance, and MAPS Aesthetic. 9 months of phased expert exercise programming designed by Sal, Adam, and Justin to systematically transform the way your body looks, feels, and performs. With detailed workout blueprints and over 200 videos, the RGB Super Bundle is like having Sal, Adam, and Justin as your own personal trainers, but at a fraction of the price. The RGB Super Bundle has a full 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can get it now plus other valuable free resources at mindpumpmedia.com. If you enjoy this show, please share the love by leaving us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes and by introducing Mind Pump to your friends and family. We thank you for your support, and until next time, this is Mind Pump.